Hey everyone. In today's video I want to talk about a topic that, in my opinion, has never been talked about on the internet. And if you wonder which is, I will tell you right now. It's about explanations. More precisely, about these little presentations we, as YouTubers, have to offer to the audience, which in turn represents you. So what would be the point of this video, you would ask yourselves? It's simple. It's about exposing a huge hypocrisy of so many YouTubers who serve as knowledge and comprehension givers to the rest of the world. Okay. Now that I have established my purpose of the video, it's time I get into the middle of things. When it comes to any piece of information related to video games, movies, and stories in general, we tend to make a big mistake in reading YouTube video titles. For example, let's say I make a video about explaining the markers from the Dead Space franchise. Now, this is what all the YouTubers do in such cases, at least those that I have encountered so far. They start talking about how the markers are presented in the game, the effects they carry on the human civilization, their purpose of doing what they do, possibly some references present in other video games. But as far as explanations go, this is where it ends. And it's totally an attack at one's intellect and understanding. I do agree that there are certain video games that do not emphasize on story elements, and thus you'd need explanations, but clearly it's not the case for every kind of video. Why? For starters, you consider yourself a fan of some content you watch, right? Wouldn't you feel insulted if a certain YouTuber makes content related to what you love, but instead of delivering something that would help you understand what you follow in the story you are actually told over and over again the same piece of information everywhere, which when you think about it, it's just one big summary. And here is where I wanted to reach. This is where we get to the center of it. The difference between summary and explanation. Let's talk first about summary. The summary identifies the main points or elements. That would be me telling you about the markers and what they are capable of. The summary identifies what was stated or what was included. A proper example would be me quoting characters or author statements related to the markers. The summary identifies thoughts or contributions others have had. That means I expose you the opinions of characters, and lastly, no argument or conclusion is presented. So I am done with my Dead Space video about the markers, but I leave no drawn line from the video and the perceptions I have regarding these markers. I simply give information, but I don't do anything with it. I don't try to come up with something that would expand the origins of the markers and create potential ways for them to have an origin. Explanation. Another term of explanation is really analysis. It involves more than giving a piece of information. It requires me, as YouTuber, to make use of my cognitive skills, and find a way to establish a proper foundation for a story that was left in mystery. But, let's be more specific here. Let's define an analysis. An analysis has the presenter to make an argument and reach a conclusion. It chooses specific elements or areas to study. In terms of a video game explanation, it would be me focusing on certain elements that I deem they are vital for the explanation. An analysis examines and interprets each element, discusses why each element is important or significant. So if I were to make a video about the Dead Space markers, here I would point out the fact as to why I think certain character or creator statements are valid and how they can help you. An analysis discusses how each element connects to other pieces. Basically I have to prove you as to why I think these elements help my case about the origin of the markers. An analysis might discuss causes and effects. In terms of a video game or film explanation, I would be telling you what kind of effects will this video have on a certain community and the franchise. An analysis might discuss strengths and weaknesses or advantages and disadvantages. Basically, it would be me informing you as to why I think these elements help my case, and as to why other elements might destroy my case. For example, I believe this particular element suits my explanation about the marker's origins because it is connected to a certain location. And I could count in that potential counter-element such as a character's objective point of view. And this is the most important aspect. An analysis might discuss effectiveness or ineffectiveness. In terms of a video game explanation, it all comes to this one point: how accurate or inaccurate one's explanation is. Does it worth anything enough to be taken for granted? For example, I have come to the conclusion that the markers in Dead Space are materialized demonic entities from the Bible brought to the known universe by a highly technological advanced alien species who decided to explore unknown universes so they could find a power source to fuel their civilization because they were on the brink of extinction. Now, to be clear, I am not talking about discussions regarding behind-scenes concepts or official story leaks. All I am talking about is what the true meaning of explanation is. Why? Because most YouTubers do not create explicative content, they simply summarize a story. Why? Maybe due to the fear of being unable to stand their case in an argument with someone who is in disagreement. Or maybe they simply try to attract potential viewers, subscribers, and at last, money. I am sure you noticed by now that I have never done a summary when it came to video game or film lore. Yes, there is a summary with Doom 2016 Cyber Demon. But I have created that video to show the viewers why the Doom 2016 Cyber Demon was not really the classic Cyber Demon but rather a Balgar demon. And why am I not doing this? Because I consider it a crime against the offering of knowledge and understanding to others. Take for example my video where I talk about the possible origin of the Reverse Flash. Is it a summary? If you take a look at it, it is not. Because I am not summarizing something that already exists. It is an analysis because with my own logic and imagination I use certain statements from characters or events to state as to why I think this is Eobard Thawne's origin story. Is it canon? Absolutely not. But then can you really debunk it? No, you can't. Why? Because I have not given you a summary for you all to try and find some inconsistency in it, I gave you an analysis. Of course, you are free to try, but I assure you that I will stand my ground if you try to give me a counter. This is why I find fictional lore summaries pointless. Why should I listen to you offering me the same quality and quantity of information that a video game or film has already given me on screen? If people really love summaries, they should just type on the internet their favorite character, a building, or an event, and a Wikipedia page will be there to assist you in your hunger for basic knowledge and understanding. Let me repeat, you don't need YouTubers to summarize your content. If you really want to know more, just check out the informative pages. They have even more than what the YouTubers want to express you in their videos. And in case people didn't notice, a lot of fictional lore YouTubers incorporate their ideas from Wikipedia pages, then they change up some stuff here and there to not make it obvious. If only they credited those Wikipedia pages. I am vehemently against such summaries. And I advise you to do the same. Because, in the end, it's you, the listener, who shall suffer, and not the YouTuber. That was all for today. Thank you for watching. Until then, a happy day to everyone.